England's MVP, Drake Maye or Matthew Stafford?
Drake Maye,
Former
baby.
Patriot! Former Patriot!
There's no bias in this.
Okay.
I just watch football. I'm watching Drake Maye week in and week out just put on incredible performances. And we saw it right there in our backyard, MetLife Stadium. Greeny, I know you tuned in. Drake Maye, 5 touchdowns? Drake Maye, MVP.
I watched the first 2 drives, and then the game was completely over at that point. I want to make mention of something. Okay, so we changed the way these things are put up there into the kind of gambling conversation that people can generally understand. These are the odds at DraftKings Sportsbook. Sometimes I think people see minus 500, plus 400. They don't fully understand what they're saying. Drake Maye and then Matthew Stafford are the favorites, and then it's Trevor Lawrence, and then it's Caleb Williams, and then it's Josh Allen, and then it's Sam Darnold, and then it's Bo Nix, and then, oh my God, Christian McCaffrey is 500 to 1. 500 to 1 to win MVP, and I'm telling you right now, if he has a big game on Saturday night, in my opinion, he should be the MVP of the league. He's 500 to 1 to win that award.
Narrative matters in MVP voting. I know you look at the odds and you say, well, DraftKings Sportsbook is going to decide it. DraftKings Sportsbook might have odds. It means nothing. It's so turbulent. You know that Matthew Stafford was minus 400 to be the MVP going into last Monday night's game, and then at halftime suddenly was the underdog to Drake Maye. That's how quick this changes. And this guy right here, McCaffrey, 2 primetime games the last 2 weeks, has been absolutely dominant, and he has another primetime game Saturday night. If he goes 1,000 and 1,000, and he needs about 110 receiving yards to do that, he will finish with his second 1,000 season. He will lead the league in all-purpose scrimmage yards, and he'll be the number 1 player on the number 1 seeded team. Narrative matters. This is not done by some algorithm or by stats. And as much as the Drake Maye fans are shouting and the Stafford fans are shouting, Drake Maye's going up against a beaten-down Dolphins team. Stafford's going up against a Cardinals team. No one is watching those games. Everyone is going to be watching Saturday night's game.
And I love the fact that you said the story around it matters so much. And you look at this second-year quarterback for the New England Patriots who got his second head coach in his second year, a different offensive coordinator on a team that won 4 games in back-to-back years. And now this was the guy that was a number 3 pick, had concussions last year, didn't play in every single game. And he propels this entire team where Stephon Diggs is coming in there. There's no superstar around him. The 2 running backs, Travion Henderson is a rookie. Ramondre Stevenson was the guy that fumbled all last year. And now you look at this team.
Can I ask a question to all 3 of you guys? I don't want to play taking the hosting role, but does strength of schedule matter with an MVP?
I don't think so. I know that's part of the conversation the Patriots
because you have the easiest strength of schedule versus the hardest.
He's played in
but the MVP award,
he'll play in 17 NFL games,
I'm getting tired of the MVP award because it's a narrative award, but we end up giving it to quarterbacks, and I hate seeing it because last year
Saquon Barkley should absolutely have been the MVP.
This season, it should be CMC. It really should.
In whatever year it was, 07, whatever year the Patriots went completely crazy and won 16-0, Randy Moss should absolutely have been the MVP that year. They gave it to the quarterback. Last year, Saquon Barkley should absolutely have been the MVP. They gave it to a quarterback. This year, if he plays a huge game, and then I think there was, at minimum, a very good argument to be made that Christian McCaffrey should be
500 to 1 odds. I don't know who made, but that's an insane.
But they're going to give it to a quarterback. I mean, that's what they do. They give it to the
us. We're the voters. It's the media.
I'm not a voter. Are you a voter?
No, I'm not. But I'm
not a voter.
But I'm saying it's the media. So it's not like it's done by some algorithm. Like the media has to say, okay, it's a quarterback.
There was
position.
1 non-quarterback on that entire screen.
Right.
And you think about the seasons that guys have had.
If ever there was a year.
CJ Stroud has no disrespect to CJ.
No,
he's a terrific
This hasn't
player.
been his year, though.
No, he hasn't had a great year, and he missed. They were 4-0 without him.
Last year, Lamar and Josh Allen had sensational top 5 NFL all-time seasons. Drake Maye, he's had a nice season. Matthew Stafford has had a great season. I would argue those are not the greatest quarterback seasons ever. If ever there was a year for a running back to do it, it is this year.
I would love to see it happen. At minimum, 500 to 1 seems like a very tasty little opportunity. I don't know about you. All right, back to more quarterback.
1-7 in their last 8 games, and just look like a team that is falling apart. The Panthers on the other end, they win one, then they lose one. Then they win one, then they lose one. Well, last week they lost to the Seahawks, so it's just about time for them to win the next one.
Peter, you'll be working this game, so obviously we won't get a pick from you, but as you start putting together your preparation for the game, like what is your sense of what is going on there with Tampa? This is a team that had Super Bowl conversation around them 6-7 weeks ago.
What's so interesting is they started off 6-2. Baker was the MVP, the whole thing. In those games, they beat Seattle in Seattle in a shootout. They beat the Texans. They threw all over that Texans defense. And they beat the 49ers. And they're 1-7. And what's so alarming is they got back Mike Evans. They got back Bucky Irving. They got back Jalen McMillan. So at some point, it's what's the vibe here, and can we get off the mat one more time? They have won 4 division titles in a row. I believe at home they will rally to do something positive here, but I can't give you my 100% confidence before being on the sidelines on Saturday that we're suddenly going to see the team that was 6-2 before the season, for the midway mark.
And in a weird little codicil in the Faber College Constitution, if they win the game, they still have to sweat out a game on Sunday, right?
Well, the irony is, if the Saints lose to the Falcons, the Panthers still go. And guess what? The Saints and Falcons are playing better football than the Buccaneers right now.
That's
Both
right.
of those teams are.
That's
So
right.
maybe that's deservedly so.
Maybe the Saints and Falcons should be playing.
That should be for the division. Yeah.
Take a vote for it.
All right, let me go to the next one, Kmart, and that is the night game on Saturday, and that one has no codicil attached to it. Winner is the 1 seed. Loser falls to the wild card. Sam Darnold was in this same spot with a different team last year. What is your sense of this one, Kimberly Martin?
Greeny, I'm gonna say the Seahawks. Listen, they got the NFL best road record, 14-2 on the road. Also, San Francisco, Trent Williams hamstring. I understand Kyle Shanahan, he didn't practice yesterday, and Kyle Shanahan said there's still a chance that he could play, but that big guy with that hamstring, I'm a little nervous. Also, Kittle's coming back from the injury. First of all, you need your left tackle. I don't want to see Trent Williams limping down a sideline in this game. So I'm going to say the Seahawks, but this one is a tough one for me.
What's your feel for this game, Jimmy?
That's a big part of it because what Seattle has built their defense on is those guys up front, DeMarcus Lawrence, Leonard Williams, and all of those guys getting after the quarterback. They played against each other in week 1, and Seattle goes back and they look at that game and they see almost some fluke-type things happening. The tight end Tungus makes a catch where they're right there in position. They just can't get it done. Sam Darnold had a chance, drove them all the way down the field and turned the ball over right when they were knocking on the door to score. So I look at this Seattle team, and I'm picking them as well to win. And there's so many naysayers around Sam Darnold. And I know he hasn't always played his best football, but I look at the last few weeks and what he's been able to do in the fourth quarters where they've needed him most. That Rams game, it was ugly. And then Shaheed returns that punt, and then we see a different version of Sam Darnold. The Colts game, which I was in the stadium for, where they didn't play great on the offensive side of the ball. And then at the very end, 2 passes to Rashid Shaheed, gets them in field goal range, and they win that game. So I think if he can make some plays in the fourth quarter, it's a big if. I think that can be the thing that propels him.
There's no quarterback playing better right now than Brock Purdy, and that's in the entire league. The last 2 weeks in must-win games in prime time, he has accounted for 10 touchdowns. 10 touchdowns.
And 10 Dougies.
And exactly, dancing up a storm. And they have an offense that is fully dialed in, and that's an offense that was without Kittle last week, was without Trent Williams after the first snap, without Brandon Ayuk the entire season. Purdy right now is playing better than Stafford. Purdy's playing better than Drake Maye, and that's a small sample size. But guess what? He's coming in with all the momentum, and they're home in this game. And as we've said all month long, you win this one, you're home the rest of the way.
Do you think their defense can hold on long enough?
Guess what? When they need to make the big play, we got a pick 6 on Monday night against the Colts, and they got a chance to stop Caleb Williams on that big play. But no, that is a struggling defense right now, but they've made the big play when they needed.
The Sam Darnold of it all. I mean, you're saying he's playing fantastic football this season. However, he has to, in these moments, these are the moments where the old narrative, you get to squash it once and for all.
I'm rooting for him.
Of course.
I'm rooting for him.
Well,
I mean, I'm happy for everybody, and I want to see him. My team's obviously not been in it for 15 years, so I'm just rooting for stories, but I'm rooting for him. I would like to see him once and for all sort of bury that
He's in the playoffs.
And go in. Yeah.
Either way.
But if he does, look, the Bears just scored 40 points against this team. He needs to play well on Saturday night.